The biggest battle we will ever have to face is the battle between you and you. It's the battle of taking your mind to that limit and then breaking through. On the Mindful Experiment podcast, we will share concepts, universal laws, and interviewing individuals who have done just that, who have gone through the dark times and through those moments allowed their light to shine bright. I'm your host, Dr. Vic Manzo, and I want to thank you for listening to the podcast and taking this journey with me as we discover different avenues to break through those limits, expand your reality, and evolve into the person you desire to be. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode on the Mindful Experiment. You are with Dr. Vic as we dive deep today about the mind. Great documentary out called Heal. Talks a lot about the power of the mind. Talks about how the healing process works and various things. And it's kind of cool documentary. So I highly recommend checking it out. It really falls along the lines of chiropractic and the principles of chiropractic. So it's kind of cool. But check that out. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because today's episode is all about understanding that everything starts with the mind first. You know, Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is actually, he is on that, on the documentary, he talks about, he has a book out that's called The Biology of Belief. And what that is he found out through his research, massive research in cellular biology, that when you have a certain belief system or mindset to something, what ends up happening is it alters the way it works. Now, the simplistic way of explaining this is that if you have toxic thoughts, you create toxins within the body. If you have nervous thoughts, you create nervous cells within the body. If you nervous proteins and nervous things like that. If you have positive thoughts, like happy thoughts, you create happy cells and happy proteins. Now, research has shown this to be true, that the body will do that. One negative thought reduces the immune system just from that process. It lowers the vibration of the body. And when I use the term vibration, that essence means at the lowest level possible, not at a subatomical level, but even beyond that, it's just energy, and that vibrates. It's a waveform that vibrates at a certain frequency. And so that frequency will determine, or conscious level will determine your experience based on that process. And that happens with the body also. So the reason why I thought that was really critical to bring up in an episode is because, you know, time and time again, being a chiropractor, there are times where people will come to my office and nothing against them. It's just a mindset thing where they'll think that as long as I'm coming here, I should be better and always be better. And that's a medical mindset that's coming from the medical world and we've been programmed that way, that if I have a condition, I go and take B solution and it'll get me C results, right? That's a destination type process. Once you get your results, there's no need to continue. Medical, that's how it is, because medicine is a sick cure based model. It is basically based off symptoms, illnesses, and diseases, and that's the only way they can give anything to someone. Other than that, the model doesn't exist for healthcare. Now, when it comes to healthcare does not need to have a symptom, illness, disease, condition, or anything to get work done and to maintain the body. That's why in Heal, they talk about energetic blockages. We talk about it in chiropractic, about making sure the nervous system is communicating properly with itself and in its environment so it knows what's going on and how to respond accordingly and properly. So when someone comes in, let's say they have wellness, man, chiropractic work wonders. It'll help improve the overall awareness of the body. I have a gentleman who I've been working with, and he really liked the way I was explaining how it helps raise your consciousness. It helps you become more aware of yourself, more aware of your environment, helps you be the best version of you every single day as we do the work and retrain the brain. And he's not even been in a month in care, and he's noticing that he doesn't get as reactive. His mood is calmer. He's more centered. He's feeling better. I haven't even adjusted his wrists from carpal tunnel, and he is already noticing a benefit there. And again, I come back and just reference that, you know, it's just getting back to that place of centeredness. But I digress here a little. But the thing is when it comes to your life, here's the thing. People will come in thinking they're going to get the results, and that's what it should be, and that's the end of it. And what I teach is, and what I share heavily, and this is what I do in my online classes and my conferences that I attend and my speaking opportunities that I do, is that when it comes to your life, you can still interfere with the healing process. You can still interfere with the experience because, and this comes from science is backing this up. In quantum physics, they had a study that was done that called the observer effect, right? How you see something is what the experience will be. Whatever you see. I mean, spiritual texts has said for ancient years, for millennia, that they said that the universe is experiencing itself. We are just experiencing ourselves and understanding ourselves deeper at a deeper level from a spiritual aspect. I really believe that the observer effect leads us to that perspective, to understand that we are the observers of the reality of this life, of this earth, of this universe, and God, Yahweh, all that is, prime director, universal intelligence, whatever you want to call it, gets that to understand itself as much as we understand ourselves in that process. And that's how we all evolve together. Now, so when it comes to the observer effect, though, let's say you're getting adjusted, you're feeling well. I'm just using this as a chiropractic way because this is where my arena is at. And you're feeling better. You're like, wow, I'm going to a chiropractor. My back pain's gone. I'm feeling better. I have more energy. And this is great. But you still have this thinking. You still have the mindset that this isn't, you're still stressed. You're still complaining about things. You're still being pulled and keeping yourself in an imbalanced state. The chances of you having that success in long term is going to go down. Eventually, there's going to come a point, because we live in a physical reality. We're in a physical body that there is physical limitations that that there will come a point where things will regress back. And this happens in all areas of your life. I mean, for example, I love this story that I've heard. It was from T.D. Jakes. I've heard it first, and it's really a great story that I love to share. And it's that if you don't change your mind, you'll always have the same experience. If you buy the new car, you'll still have the same experience if you have the same mind. And I love that because it's really true in so many elements. Think about it. If you're complaining about your car, you don't like your car, you can't stand it, and you never change the mindset to have appreciation for your car, what ends up happening is you buy the new car, you're all happy, good, law of diminishing effect kicks in about 2 to 3 months later, maybe 4 to 6. And all of a sudden, you're complaining about that car, which you don't like. And it's the same experience, the same cycle. Nothing changes because you haven't changed the mind first. That's why it's so critical that you start there. This happens in so many arenas in life. I can't tell you. Like for me, I have I've been driving the same car for, 4 years, 5 years, and I got it used. It was already 3 years old back then. So it's in 2012 and we're in 2019. And for me, if you talked to me 10 years ago, that'd be unacceptable. I need to have a new car, right? Because I want the newest thing. I want the newest technology. I want to have all that nice stuff in the car so everything works better and sync and safety and all that stuff. But in this day and age, I've changed my mind to just appreciate what I have, and I shifted my perspective. So what I do, and this is what I highly recommend people to do, if you don't have a car payment anymore, whatever your car payment was, put that monthly into an investment account. Work with someone who's an investment person or whatever it may be, but you take that money and you put it into an investment account. And now you're still making the same payments, but you're investing that money. You're already still giving it to a car loan and the note on it and so forth. It's just nice and small. It's a money thing to where you keep putting money in, even though you don't have to spend that there. Because what happens is if you don't use your money, if you have money that you're going to save, you paid a bill, and if you don't have a plan to reuse it in the better purpose, what ends up happening is going to go somewhere else. It's just the law of life energy. I talked a little bit about that. It's just the things that we do, the conscious level that we are, the vibrational frequency that we're experiencing when it comes to money. You will always have that situation. So for me, that's something I do. If I paid off a debt, may it be in my business, well, what I end up doing then is that same amount, I put that in a savings account and I start saving that money. Because what I want to do is accumulate enough so that I don't use the money, but I have enough for a rainy day, making investments into the future for the business, equipment, and XYZ. So it creates more stability for the business overall. That's kind of where that perspective comes from. So again, I didn't have that mindset 10 years ago. I do have it now. And now this is what I do. I had to learn. There's a lot of things I had to go up and down to learn from that. But when you look at your life, you have to shift mindset. You have to shift your focus and your perspective on things. You have to see it from different lights. Because if you keep doing the same thing, keep having the same issues, that's insanity. You're expecting a different result every time you do something and you're not getting it. And you're doing the exact thing. I mean, it's just pure insanity. So instead, shift gears and go ahead and focus on what it is that you can see and do different for yourself. Change your mind, you change your life, no matter what arena in life. And that's just two. Let's talk about a relationship, right? If you have a viewpoint, a filter on your spouse or significant other or your partner, and you see them a certain way, and that's how you see them all the time, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, that's all you'll ever see. That's all you'll ever receive to you is that information, how you see them. So in essence, you kind of put your spouse or your significant other or partner in a box and you limit them. Now, I know you're not doing that intentionally. Never would you ever want to. But it's just how we were programmed and thought. And this is kind of the things that we do when it comes to relationships. I did it. I've done it multiple times in multiple different relationships. I did this to my wife, and I still do every once in a while. I'm human. I'm not perfect. But at the same token, I'm always learning, evolving, and growing. I don't mind making mistakes as long as I learn from them. I always say I'll make a mistake once and that's it. That's my rule book. Now, majority of the time, that's true. I will make a mistake. I will learn from it. I don't care how long it takes for me to learn from it, but I will learn from it. And then I move on. Sometimes I'll access and see what did I need to grasp the most from that and how can I make a change so I don't go through the same process again. That's true evolvement. That's true evolving, true expansion, in my opinion, because once you expand and evolve and you learn from something, you don't make that mistake again. And that's how you know you have evolved and have expanded. And I think that's very critical when it comes to your life and what you do. So when we're looking at different elements of your life, you want to focus on that mindset. And some of the things that I do to help me get out of this stinking thinking is first is gratitude. Appreciate what you have, the goods and the bad. Who cares? It's all the good stuff at the end of the day. And the reason why I say everything is good, I can make a simple argument for that. And I'll win immediately. So it's pretty simple. Everything is a win in life. Nothing is a loss. Nobody ever loses. It's a false reality to think that you are losing in something. You never lose. Here's why. If you look at the root word of win, the real word win means to gain. Okay. So you gain something when you win. All right. Now, for some, you may be thinking, yeah, you gain a trophy. You gain this. Yeah, you do. But guess what? What's the losing team gain? If you end up getting a divorce, you go through that experience, you're going to win out of that because what are you going to gain from it? You see, you change the words, it changes your perspective of reality. That's why in my book, Rediscover Your Greatness, in chapter 3, I say words are the fabric to your reality. And that's why. Because now all of a sudden, if you lose in a game, whatever it may be, you will still gain something out of it, an experience, a lesson. You still get something from it. Does that make sense? People get a trophy. That's the tangible. What you get is something intangible. And I'm not saying go out now and try to lose so you can gain something. The purpose, what I'm trying to say is every experience you have, you gain from it. Every single experience you gain from it. There is no losing. There is no loss. So apply that in your life and really start to understand that and take losses, failures, upsets, and allow them to help you expand and grow. I'll tell you, my marriage really rocks when we go through some hard times. When we go through, we have to really keep our communication clear because we have some stressful times going on, maybe in the relationship, maybe outside the relationship, maybe family stuff, things with life that come up. We really know how to come together. And we really strengthen our communication. And what that does is makes our marriage even better. And that's something I'm really grateful for. Now, it's not always sunshine and rainbows when I'm going through that process. But the beautiful side of that is when I get through it, any storm really has beautiful sunshine shining afterwards. And I'll tell you the truth. Every time that happens in any arena of my life, that sun shines bright. I'm telling you straight up right. And it's really I'm less stressed. I feel free on my chest and so many amazing things. So it's one of those things that I highly recommend to remember that no matter what happens in life, it's always a win. You just have to shift your mindset, right? Shift the mindset. Everything starts there. You can complain about things, but that's only going to give energy to create more of it. Or you can focus on things and how you can learn from it. At the end of the day, there's no right or wrong. It's just different experiences. So I hope you liked this episode. Any questions, please let me know. Shoot an email at drvic@poweryourreality.com. If there is something that you're interested in and want me to talk more about on the podcast, send me an email and I'll definitely put it into the list of podcast recordings that we're doing. And as always, please, if you find this podcast amazing, please go ahead and share a review on iTunes or Podbean or Spotify or Stitcher or iHeartRadio, wherever we are. Go ahead and share a review for us. I greatly appreciate you guys. And as always, until next time, keep rocking and rolling. Thank you for listening to the podcast. For past shows, please visit www.empoweryourreality.com. I hope this show inspired you and added to your life to help you on the journey to rediscover who you really are. To connect with us on Facebook, please visit www.facebook.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. Check us out on Twitter. The handle is Dr. Vic21. Follow us on Instagram, www.instagram.com/Dr. Vic Manzo. If you were inspired by the podcast, pay it forward by sharing it with someone who you know can benefit from it. Thank you again for listening to the Mindful Experiment podcast, sharing paths to help you rediscover your infinite potential.